Shell today announced plans to construct the world's largest floating offshore facility at an estimated cost of $11 billion. The new ship, the Prelude, will weigh 6 times as much as the largest aircraft carrier, and it'll measure almost half a kilometre from bow to stern. It'll be moored some 200 miles off the coast of Australia. It'll allow Shell to process and chill natural gas for export at sea, avoiding the need to pipe it on shore. And Australia's Federal Resources Minister Martin Ferguson says the Prelude will add more than $45 billion to the economy. Well, joining me now from Perth, Australia, is Malcolm Brinded, Shell's Executive Director of the upstream business. Malcolm, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Good morning.
Malcolm, I mean, this is quite phenomenal, isn't it? The size, the capability of Prelude, of this vessel. Is it a real game changer for the industry?
Well, I think you've used the right word there. I think it's absolutely a game changer because it enables the unlocking of gas that is remote from shore, which otherwise would never have been developed, so-called stranded gas. And I think by unlocking that with groundbreaking technology, we hope obviously to open up this field, but many more to come.
And talk to me about the prospects for many more to come, not just by yourself, but by other oil companies as well. Where potentially will others come from?
Well, obviously, as Shell, we're pretty proud of coming with the world's first. And as you mentioned, the scale of this is simply enormous, almost half a kilometre long. So this one is, as you said, 200 kilometres off the Australian coast. We have other prospects in deep water Australia, and there are other prospects around Africa and in other waters, deep waters of the world, where the gas is remote from shore. As you say, I think it's not only Shell that will be looking at this technology. We think other people who have licenses with deep and remote gas will look to this technology, and hopefully they'll come to us and see if we're interested in joining them in partnership to try and apply this technology elsewhere.
It's a great example, Malcolm, of the money that's being invested in the region, in Asia, to absorb the potential amount of demand from Asia. I mean, do you think that the $200 billion of planned investment in Australian LNG export projects will be absorbed by demand in Asia?
Yes, I'm confident of that. I think that the driving force here is the world's need for energy as we go from 6-7 billion people in the world to 9 billion by 2050. Then energy demand is probably going to double in that time frame. Say gas demand up 50% just in the next 20 years. But fastest growing of all of these is LNG demand, liquefied natural gas demand, which we think will double this decade in Asia Pacific. So there's plenty of room in the market for Prelude and many more projects like it.
I mean, you're investing massively in Australian projects, $30 billion over the next 5 years. Because of the cost that you're outlaying, does this mean that you're going to have to sell maybe your minority stake in Woodside Petroleum to balance out your portfolio around the world?
Not necessarily, and we've made no comments or decisions with regard to the stake that we have, the 24% stake we still have in Woodside. We did actually sell a 10% stake last year, and at the time we said we're now shifting towards some direct investment in major projects in Australia, and Prelude, of course, is a great example of such a project, one we're very proud of from a technological breakthrough point of view and from a commercial and economic point of view. It's a really fine project, and it's great that it's going ahead.
Does that mean, Malcolm, very quickly, that you're not in talks to sell that 24% stake in Woodside very quickly?
We never comment on speculation like that, but we've made no decision on our stake in Woodside.
Malcolm, you squeezed it in. Thank you very much indeed. Malcolm Brinded there.